If I told you the biggest access risk to your company isn't the people who quit, it's the people who got promoted, would that surprise you? Because it's true. And by the end of this, you're going to want to go ahead and pull a very specific report from your access management system. Every team I've ever worked with has offboarding down cold, right? Someone leaves, HR files a ticket, IT kills the account, done. Clean trigger, clean process. Nobody debates whether a terminated employee should lose access, right? Pretty simple. But nobody has the same process for internal transfers. And that gap, that's where I think most of your real access risk is actually hiding. I had a student in one of my GRC courses. She worked in insurance, had been in her company almost a decade, 3 different roles along the way. I had a class do an exercise where everyone pulled their own access listing, just to see. She messaged me that night, kind of stunned, saying she still had edit rights to a claim system from a job she left 5 years earlier. Nobody had done anything wrong. Nobody had even noticed it. It had just never come up. Here's what actually happens when somebody transfers. Say they move from finance to sales. IT provisions the new access, no problem. That part usually works. What almost never happens is anyone going back and removing what they had before. And it's not because anyone's careless, it's that nobody owns it. HR's job ended when the transfer was processed. IT's job was to add access, not audit old access. The old manager's already backfilling the role. The new manager has zero idea, right? And zero reason to care what this person used to be able to touch. So the access just sits there like a hallway closet nobody ever cleans out. Now here's the part I really want you to sit with. Terminated employees are a known quantity. There's a date, there's urgency, everyone agrees it's a problem. Internal transfers create something quieter, entitlement creep, access that piles up slowly, legitimately, one reasonable grant at a time. No single grant looks wrong, but stack 5 years of transfers and promotions, and you'll find employees who are, on paper, more privileged than your actual system admins, right? And nothing alerts on that. Nothing flags this person still has old access. You only find it if you go looking. This is the one thing that kind of gets me every time, right? Most companies are governing access off of org charts, but the org charts tell you where someone sits today. It's not saying anything about what they can still touch or what they were able to touch years ago. Those are just completely different maps, and most organizations only have one of them. If you ask me to bet on where an insider risk finding is going to come from in a mature company, I would not bet on the disgruntled employee walking out the door. I'd bet on the well-meaning employee who's been promoted twice and still has admin access to a system they haven't logged into for years. Termination risk gets all the attention because it's dramatic. It's easy to explain to a board in one sentence. Transfer risk doesn't get attention because it's boring and slow. But boring and slow is actually what makes it dangerous. It's had years to quietly compound before anyone thought to look. Here's what I do about it, right? Treat every transfer like a mini-offboarding. Review the old access for removal with the same seriousness as a termination, not 6 months later as an afterthought. Time box any exceptions, right? So temporary access actually expires instead of becoming permanent by default. And you make access reviews role-based, not tenure-based. Stop asking, does this person still work here? And start asking, does their current role actually justify this? But here's my ask for the comments. Pull up anyone on your team who's had 2 or more roles changes, in the last 3 years, and go look at what they still can touch. Tell me what you find. I'd generally be surprised if you like the answer. Subscribe for more of this every week, and I'll see you in the next one.